Cody Janzen joining us on the Sports Cage. Cody, like the lid, by the way, looking sharp. So right now we're sitting 4-2 for the Saskatchewan Rush. Just kind of give us a quick, recap on how the season's gone so far for our Rush.
Yeah, it's been an interesting season, a little bit of ups and downs, but still 4-2 is crazy that we're saying, hey, we're sitting third in the league right now. It's a 14-team league, right? So the parity top to bottom has been really good. 3 of the first 4 games went to overtime. Rush won 2 of those, and then just coming off of a loss against Toronto over the weekend where the Rock, they went to the league semifinals last year. They're now healthy, and, they took it to the Rush a little bit in the third quarter, and then, Sask just couldn't climb their way back. They got a couple of late goals, but ultimately it's kind of their first little hiccup on the season because, losing to Philly in overtime, not that big of a hiccup. Philly's second in the league, and they got a great offense.
Who makes this team tick offensively this year for the Rush?
Zach Mans has to be that kid. He's second year, really a full-timer in the league. He's got 31 points in 6 games. A lot of things have gone through him, but it's still, you go back to the veterans. And Robert Church has now come off his injury. He's got 4 goals in his last 2 games. He's a special player, right? I think everyone in Saskatchewan knows the name Robert Church because he's been a legend here for the past 8-9 years. And again, it's pretty cool. It's not the franchise record yet. He's still got 100 points to chase down Matthews for the all-time franchise record. But since, the team moved from Edmonton to Saskatchewan, no one scored more than Robert Church. He's got 689 points. That's wow. Crazy. So it's a cool milestone he reached over the weekend.
You mentioned the parity in the league, and I'm looking at the standings here, right? It's like there's no divisions. It's like, boom, they're all right there. Buffalo's leading 5. And you talked about the tough loss for the Rush against Philadelphia. Is Buffalo the runaway favorites here this year? Like everyone's going to be chasing them, and what makes them so good?
Yeah, Buffalo just went and beat the brakes off of Philly this past weekend. So they got 2 guys on pace for over 100 assists this year. It's crazy. They've got stars like Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, Matt Vince is their goaltender. He's been one of the best in the league for the last 15 years. So he's kind of like the Martin Brodeur of the league. If you want to throw it into hockey terms, that's been Matt Vince. And then you got 2 of the top offensive players in Dane Smith and Josh Byrne. That's really, their team does have depth and everything, but it always just seems like they're going to go as far as their stars take them. And they kind of have a tandem like McDavid and Draisaitl, but they actually win championships.
Woo, little bit of a dig there.
Well, no, I came from Edmonton working for Oilers radio. And again, I'm not saying that they can't win it, but now Byrne and Smith are in their 30s and they're winning championships. They lost to Sask in 2016. They lost to Calgary in 2019. But now they got over the hump, and it seems like they just can't stop winning. So maybe the Oilers get there. Who knows?
This weekend, Saturday, always fun when there's a Rush home game. Albany is in town. Fantastic hotel back in the day in Saskatoon. Albany's in town, and it's retro night. Speaking of retro, so what can people expect when they head to this one? Lots of hairspray and ripping darts in the stands, or what's retro night consist of?
I don't think I can condone that, but also I'll have a headset on, so I won't be telling anyone not to. All jokes aside, though, yeah, retro outfits, like the fans love to get dressed up. You get a little bit of music from the 80s, 90s. The guys get to show up in their retro suits and jumpsuits. So it's pretty fun in that regards. And then the team's wearing some retro jerseys. I don't know if you got to take a look at those. They're on Rush social medias all over, but they're a cool throwback. It kind of reminds me of an old college lacrosse jersey. I'm thinking 70s, 80s. You got the numbers on the front. You got Sask. It's still that patented Rush green. You got the black stripes. I think they're sharp. I'm excited. I think fans have had pretty good. They've been pretty receptive to the change as well. So I'm excited to see them in action.
I'm looking at them right now. They're not super crazy, but they do have that like early 90s, late 80s college. If put a nice pace setter or a wind pant, maybe get, I don't know if me Sporting Goods is still around up there. Yeah, that would be nice. And you know what? To get to a game for a family, if you just want to go with your friends and all that, it's so affordable to go to a Rush game and take in this atmosphere.
$20 co-op tickets. Like where you can hardly get to a junior hockey game for $20 nowadays.
Yeah, how do people? So what should they be going online? Where are the co-ops? What's the deal?
Well, you can go online and like go through saskrush.com. But if you're in Saskatoon, I think there's other co-op like gas bars around the province as well that have them. You drive up there and you scan the QR code. Usually it's on the front door or by the till. Like go and scan the QR code and pick up a $20 ticket, right? Like it's an unreal deal for the value. I think the entertainment value of lacrosse is second to none. I think for 2 hours, you won't find a faster game on 2 feet, and it's just action-packed.
7 p.m. Saturday night up in Saskatoon, Albany, and the Sask Rush. Well, while we got you here, I know you run a popular hockey Twitter account as well. Let's talk a little bit of hockey. You took a shot at the Edmonton Oilers there. Let's go to the cross-check. We got 3 games on both sides, Myers and Connor McDavid. Is that justifiable?
Well, it depends on, and I go back to, is the standard the standard? And I feel like it's a bit of a pinwheel, right? Like, did they just spin it and go for it? Now, I think Oilers fans are delusional, being like, it's Connor Garland's fault. It's not his fault he got cross-checked in the head, but he was being a nuisance out there. And if the refs aren't going to stop it, eventually McDavid's going to get ticked off and do something stupid, which he clearly did. So I think 3 games is fine. Like, he's not even appealing it. He's probably happy to be sitting on the couch for a little bit, but like, look back to like Trouba slashing a guy in the head last year, Soucy in playoffs, getting the game. Like, there's no standard. It's just spinning the wheel. And yeah, you can see like the Myers cross check too. I think that's a little bit more deliberate because that's not even near the scrum. Like, that's just out of the blue. That's a 6'6" D-man just taking a cross check right into someone's jibs for no reason.
I think I read too that, you know, Myers basically said, yeah, I was trying to go lower and
yeah,
it didn't
but what's
happen.
lower? In the throat? Like, you're going to hit him in the throat instead?
Right. Adam's apple shot. And he was just like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. I'll take the 3. I'll take the 3 here. For McDavid, like you said, could be a little bit of a blessing here. A little January break for number 97 with 3 games out. Yeah. It's too bad we don't get to see him against this hot Washington Capitals team. Pretty interesting stuff, though, what's going on down the road in Calgary. Like, as of, you know, they're battling for this playoff spot where everyone kind of thought, like, Calgary was a borderline AHL or Senior A team entering Senior A provincial playdowns here in Saski.
Yeah, and you get a little mix of goaltending, right? That comes through clutch. I think consistency and culture have kind of shone through, and it's weird because I think a lot of Flames fans would have admitted they thought the sky was falling with the whole Matthew Tkachuk thing, and, you know, losing guys like Bennett, and I don't know. It just feels like a team where I'm not as impressed by them as Washington. Like, what Washington's doing with their team roster, stupid right now. But yeah, the Flames, you got to tip your cap, and they're putting up a fight. Let's see, though. There's still a lot of hockey left. Like, if that team ends up dropping out, I think everyone would be like, well, yeah, it's the Flames. Like, I don't think we're talking about a team that's battling for a top 2 spot.
No. Washington, though. Even like Montreal in the East, you know, there's a lot of Habs fans everywhere you go. They're kind of got that feeling in the East, although in the East, it seems like you could win 5 games in a row and you gain 1 point on the competition.
Who's that Czech kid they got between the pipes there? He's kicking. Yeah. They got this young kid there who's been a stud, which is funny because I feel like Montreal's kind of had some flashes in the pans. Like, I thought Caden Primo was going to be a good NHL goaltender. He hasn't turned out. Sam Montembeau's fine, but like, I don't know, he's still not like a top 15 starting goaltender in the league. And then like you look at a team like Washington and I don't know. Again, it's kind of The East is weird, man. You said it. Like, it feels like teams can get hot and you still don't really gain any ground. And then end of the day, it's coming down to who's beating Florida in a 7-game series.
And like Ottawa just seems to be that blah, whatever. Yay, they're Canadian, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. And then they're right there right now in a wild card spot, but it's tight, and I don't know how that plays. Is Boston going to start selling at some point? Are you a Four Nations guy? Do you like what we're going to be watching here in a few weeks?
I mean, do I like it? Yeah, it's hockey. It's the best on best. I like that. I'm still a bitter person and being like, I want to see, like, I think like the Czech Republic or Czechia now, sorry, I'll be politically correct. I think like, I want to see more nations. I don't know where people stand, but I still want to see like Russia at the Olympics and get all that stuff sorted out, because I do think I really miss best on best hockey. I don't know. We had it so good 15 years ago. Like, people don't know how good we had it. And so, yeah, call me a throwback, old school. I still think 2002, some of my favorite hockey ever watching, and I'd go watch a game in a heartbeat then. Whereas like now it feels like I'm not, I don't know, running to my TV if Canada's playing Finland. I'm going to watch it, obviously. I'm a hockey nerd too, but like, I don't know. It doesn't excite me as much. Canada, USA, sure, it should be good. Maybe USA gets like Hellebuck to steal them a game or two, but like Canada should beat the snot out of them, no?
Oh, I don't know, man. I think it's...
What's the spread? What's the spread for game one then? I'd say it's got to be sitting
game
at
one,
like Canada
game
minus 2.5.
Game one is Sweden, Canada. So we're going to find out a lot. At least kind of Canada gets a little, get a couple games in there. U.S. and Canada, well, they're going to put Canada as a favorite. The odds makers just will, I think. That's going to be a real interesting watch. And then we got Italy coming up the next year. I agree with you, though. Like, they couldn't, I get with what's going on in Russia and all that, but they couldn't have squeezed in Czechia into this thing. Like, even let them play with the Slovaks. I don't know if
World Cup a while ago. Yeah.
If they're still not talking, I don't know. Bring in Czechoslovakia or something. Let them play together. Can they
get along well?
Can they mend things for a week just to get into this tournament? But I think a Czechia team would have been a nice add. Slovaks, maybe not deep enough. But then I heard when I was talking to a buddy from Finland about his team, and I had no idea. He was like, yeah, we have literally 8 defensemen in the NHL, and they're all going. Like, after that, we start going to the AHL. There's not a lot of Finnish defensemen apparently out there. So I don't know if Slovakia would have been able to compete. Czechia would have been nice. 5 teams. I think, but we only have so much time to get this in.
Well, I still think like a Czechia, Switzerland, or else you just throw in a Team Europe, like that kind of World Cup a while ago. Right, like that was. Yeah. I didn't mind the Team Europe or whatever they had.
Then
I wasn't a fan of the U23. I wasn't a fan of that. That felt like you're ruining the opportunity for those guys to wear their national color. Like, that's all you want, is like you want to represent your country on the biggest stage. Like, those guys will tell you that 2010 was the coolest memory ever, and we forced them to wear these ugly black and orange jerseys and called them the Young Guns. What?
Yeah, it was such good hockey. It was sneaky good hockey.
It was,
but the whole thing was just weird. It was like in August. It was like 45 degrees out. Maybe Germany. I don't know. Could Germany? You said Switzerland.
No.
I think Czechia would have been our best bet if the Russians couldn't be there. But yeah, we'll see how it all shakes down. All right, Cody. It's nice to catch up. Have a good time at Retro Night. Are you gonna cut the sides and the top off that thing and just go shorty long back Kentucky Waterfall for Retro Night?
No, I mean, hey, I've kind of got like a classic hockey mullet, lacrosse mullet going already, but I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not going all in on one weekend. Maybe I'll find a nice, like a Value Village find, right? Like maybe I'll do some shopping this week, treat myself.
Yeah,
retro.
Go get look for a Varney or a Sun Ice. It'll look good on you. Right on. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.